want to speak on something I normally don't ever speak on, but here we go. Politics. Oh my God. Okay. Now we are in a new big change of leadership, and leadership is being able to influence people in a way that they can, whether it's good or bad, is that ability to influence people. Okay. It's also when you have true leadership, which is not management, it's the ability to have a vision, to be able to see ahead. And that also comes with passion. When you have passion for what you were doing, you will find the resources, you will have strength, you will have confidence where people innately trust you to follow you and do the next thing. I've been hearing so much turmoil, especially from women, where they feel as though the country, and I've heard it from men also, where the country's not ready for a woman to lead. They're not ready for a woman to be in charge. And I highly disagree with that. I feel that there are many people that are truly ready to embrace a feminine energy in leadership. The challenge is the right person has to have those things, the position of influence, the passion to do the things, and being where everyone feels confident in trusting you to do the right thing by the people. Now, our party, the Democratic Party, had ample time, and this is what people are looking at. This is what's going on subconsciously. This is what's being felt innately to make the right transition in power. We've all seen through these experiences that the person that's been leading this country is aging. They're dealing with whether it's memory loss. They're not as their cognitive abilities have gone through a decline. And with that being said, whether you have aging parents as well, or you have people around you that are going through this, it's easy to tell how this can affect on a minute level where you're managing your home, being able to do daily tasks, being able to communicate or comprehend thoroughly. And we've watched a leader of a country, a powerful country, go through this aging and decline. We also watched leadership with past presidents where his wife, not a vice president, not another person in position on payroll, but the person that is a spouse, as a woman, take leadership roles. Okay. Now, when we watch Michelle take her roles, we've seen many things getting done. We've seen her position of power. We've seen her level of influence, the way she was able to articulate her words, the way she was able to do certain things. It was able to bring forth this level of trust. She had that level of influence as a leader to bring things forward. Now, with the person that was running, did she truly have that position of influence? Did she have the passion and the drive to look ahead? And the passion, was her passion for the United States? Was it for this country? Was it for the people? And that's what people are really looking for. They're looking for the strength. They're looking for the conviction. They're looking for protection. They're looking for direction when it comes to leadership. Okay. And when that isn't being shown, then what happens is they don't get the level of support. They won't get followers or people to trust in what they have to say. All right. So ultimately, what really needed to take place was someone that had these qualities. This would have shown up 4 years ago, right? When you started to see the decline of your boy, like technically you got VP and P, and If you hear and you see that your friend isn't doing too well, why you ain't looking out for him and saying, you know what, let me step up. I'll do the press conference. Let me do this. Let me do that. And you jump into the position of power. You jump into the role before you are even being called to do it. And just right now, even in your spiritual path, what are you being called to do that you're not living up to? Okay. Because this being in the space of leadership, that's what comes up. This is how we move into our role by stepping into what God, the universe, source may be giving you to do and actually stepping up to that plate. What we saw was not that. When there were conversations or press conferences or things, what we saw was what we would have saw going to a bar or going out on the street and seeing two people argue and they berate each other. That was not giving us the tools that we need. This is a place of democracy. How a debate should look is you see two people bringing to the table what they plan to do and being constructive with levels of criticism and not attacking each other or constantly saying the next thing. Two, if you're in this position of power and you know you want to lead a country, outside of stepping ahead early, you wouldn't have taken on something where you were being set up for failure. Okay. Where when you're mid election, 3 months before, 5 months before everyone's supposed to make a choice, you're running around trying to get all your ducks in a row. There were 4 years before this person had the opportunity to make choices to put herself in position, whether you're communicating, showing the world what you're planning to do, you're taking action, you're doing the thing, just like our current president had done when he was vice president. He automatically started doing some of the actions so that when it was time to run, it only made sense to vote him in. So when you look at things on that dynamic, the leadership and the PR, the marketing, everything from that party was not up to par. They dropped the ball. And the only way to get better is to learn from their mistake and not to be mad at your fellow person for voting for them, because each person knows what they're experiencing. Each person knows what trauma they're dealing with. It's not just about a stimulus check. It's about a way of life. We've all experienced inflation through the roof in a way that we've never experienced it before, where the cost of living has like more than tripled just to be. And people want to breathe. People want to feel free. The only thing that comes down is the bottom line. And what people are seeing is, I don't feel I can trust this situation yet. There's nothing wrong if a person says, I don't feel like trusting this situation yet. It doesn't mean they're against women. It doesn't mean they're against this. It doesn't mean any of that. Everyone wants hope. Everyone wants love. Everyone wants to have something without having to struggle to get forward in life. And everyone's going through their own level of wherever they are in this race called life to move forward. In the marketing aspect, she said his name more than her own name. Sometimes she's Kamala, sometimes she's Harris, sometimes she's this. He was consistent with the marketing. Okay. He was consistent with this. So I hear so many people saying like they think that everything's against women. And it's like heartbreaking that so many people are taking things so personally that they're maybe going to I don't know, I've heard all kinds of things on the radio lately. One woman was saying that she may never be intimate with a man again because she's going to be against men now. She's going to be complete feminine. That's her prerogative. That's what she wants to do. That's, then there's other ones that are just, they're only going to promote only women things. Like it's gone very, very personal for some people. Now, here's where I feel like I had to create a video on this, because When you are in tune, when you are aligned with your frequency and are aligned with the truth, you will feel and know what is the truth. In relationships, right? Action speaks louder than words. Like you see in dating all the time, you're like, oh no, action speaks louder than words. If this person isn't showing up the way they need to show up, they need to go. All right. We hear it all the time, right? And it's the same in all areas of your life. Now, check it. What is important here is what everyone remembers. When he was involved, the economy was cool. Before he got involved, everybody was against him. Everybody was against him. Everybody was saying this. Nobody trusted him. Nobody this, nobody that. And when he got in there, not one person said that they've had a president before that gave them money or did this thing and did that. The economy was flowing. He was also in a way where he drove everybody anxiety through the roof, right? But at the same time, it got everyone involved with this democracy. It forced everyone to pay attention to politics. It forced everyone to pay attention to the government. It forced everyone to be in tune with the stock market. Every minute the stock market is going up, then it's going down. It's going up, it's going down, it's crashing. He's running the economy. It also got a lot of people to start learning stocks. It got a lot of other people that never was in the game before to start making money. It shifted the game. It became a vice for the people. Now, what I also observed is that, and this is all observation, this is what I observed, is that he would say that there's fake news, there's fake news, there's fake news. And he was ridiculed about the fake news. But till we all started to see there's fake news. Everybody got a voice now. Everybody writing stuff. It's like you don't know who to believe, what to believe. Now check it, right? Back to relationships. Feel this. Think about a person that betrayed you. You told them some stuff about you, and when they done, they ran their mouth in a way that wasn't even true. They done turned the whole thing all upside down. It could have been your family, it could have been a friend, it could have been your ex-lover, whoever, somebody you were just like in tune with. You shared this information. I want you to like feel into this. Feel into it. Remember that memory. Now that person came back now. You gonna trust them back to the level you did before? Be honest with yourself. The answer most likely is no. And you most likely won't ever want to tell them anything that's near the truth. You probably feed them left so that way you can see who else they were running their mouth to and know who else to take off your list. Right? That's most likely how you're going to operate. Every movie show it. So if that's the case, why would you say everything you planning to do in a country where the media is always like knocking down every word that you're saying, twisting everything that you do? When you have so many people against you, you can't even trust them, because if you tell them, oh, water is clear, they're going to say, oh, this dude said that water is yellow. He's going to put clear into the fluid, into the water and kill you. Like, you can't trust anything that they're going to say. So why would you be 100% direct with them? That's how I decided I watch the action. Action speaks louder than words. And instead of trying to trust the people that are trying to destroy the mission. That's all. Just being in tune with that. And what a lot of us don't want to realize, including myself, like I didn't want to think that the government was all this and that and that. I was never like that. If anything, I'm like, nah, I ain't fooling. I am not doing nothing to mess with Uncle Sam. We here, but when this whole P. Diddy thing came out, I said, as much as I stay away from news and TV and everything, I said, well, what the heck is going on? It's like everywhere. It's like on your phone. It's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, TV, everywhere. You couldn't escape it. Netflix, Tubi, It was on all of them. Oh my God. So I'm like, all right, fine. Let me take a minute and watch this mess. I watch it. After about 40 minutes, I'm like, no, I don't know about this. I can't. Let me turn this mess off. Put something else on that I know I would normally watch. So this time, you know what Spirit had me do? I decided to watch a documentary on the founding fathers. Holy nuts. It was worse than B. Diddy. Like they were into some worse things than that, you know? So almost like, whatever adults try to do with their time, that's what adults are going to do with their time. Especially if they're putting themselves in those situations. I'm not going to stress myself over things like that. Things that aren't where you're infringing on someone else. Now that's a problem. But long story short, what I'm trying to get to is it was taught from somewhere. And I've been following and learning things about history throughout time, not just like I've read the Bible a couple of times, as well as I've been paying attention to how there's been a rise and fall of cities, of governments, of everything. And a lot of this stuff has just been passed down through generations. The key now is we are the generation that's aware. We are the generation that has the ability to choose because we're understanding. We have access to knowledge, past, present, possibly even future, you know, and being able to discern intelligently what is the right thing. And the only key way to do this is to truly get aligned, to be able to feel energetically, to trust your intuition and know what is right in your core. As I work with a person in healing and we're going through, healing past trauma, it's a way of learning how to not let the past dictate how your future is going to be. So just because everything was trash last year or the last 4 years or the last 8 years doesn't mean it has to be trash when this person is back in the office. And it didn't mean it had to be trash if she had got reelected into this space. Okay. It wasn't meaning that she was not ready or she was not good enough. I'm sure the skills were there. But was the passion, was the drive, was the leadership, were all those things there? Was she ready to communicate with different men, different leaders? Was she qualified as a leadership role? Because there is a level of feminine energy that needs to take place. There were queens before. Women have been in leadership roles, even all the way back to the Bible. So we have had queens. We've had women leadership. But in this generation, a lot of women have lost their art of feminine energy. And they are tapping into a space where they have to compete with the man. When we get there, you're operating different. You're trying to change the mechanic of how we were biologically designed. And it does not yield the result that you're looking for. We saw it with this race. A space of feminine energy. Like I feel strongly, like say Michelle had ran. Say she at the bottom of the line in September, October, she changed her mind and said, you know what, I'm going to run for presidency. I think we would have seen a completely different result. If she started at the very beginning, I think she would have won. Because I think America is ready for a strong feminine woman that is balanced with her feminine and masculine energy, that knows how to communicate with men as well as with women, that knows how to receive as well as give. And whether you're a man or a woman, that balance in feminine and masculine energy is so integral with becoming a strong leader. Now, with this person, there's another saying, your perception is your reality. Okay. And when you're hearing certain words, certain things, it may be triggering you based off of the internal traumas that you're carrying. Okay. But so if a person has come from a lineage of racism, whether they were taught to be racist, when they're hearing the terms make America great again, That stuff was already built in there. Nobody can make somebody racist out of nowhere overnight. This is something that was taught over and over and over and over and over and over again until they feel comfortable that they can unleash it, be free with it, be open with it. Okay. Now they're like, okay, when they hear this statement, all right, I can come out the closet, you know? Um, Same with vice versa. Say it's the other person on the receiving end. If they're sitting with levels of trauma from generation to generation to generation, being told you can't do this, can't do that, can't do that because of your skin color. When you hear that, it's harmful, it's hurtful. It feels like, oh my God, these things are going to come back out again to attack me. And another person might hear that statement and think, wow, this sounds like Hitler. He used to say these type of statements. This is going to be a repeat of history. And you may feel like your freedom of speech, your religion, and all the things that don't represent, that represents you will be pushed down. While another person might hear it and be like, okay, this man's a businessman. He's an economist. He's trying to think about how to make everybody make some money. And this is what that word means. So the perception is everyone's reality. Now, the key is when we recognize what perception a person's operating from, whether you operating as I'm going to be full blown racist now, or I'm going to be this, it helps you identify that person's trauma. And if you have been thinking this way, it helps you identify your trauma, where you're coming from. And now it's, well, what do you do with it? Am I feeling like I'm inferior because I'm a woman? Am I feeling that this and this and this and that? Am I being racist? Do I feel I'm more superior to Black people, Spanish people, this, that? But I have Black friends, whatever. Whatever it is that is happening to you, you have the power to work through it. You have the power to align and clear the things that's been passed down to you generationally. The epigenetics of the DNA holds up to 6 generations of trauma. So what beliefs are you carrying that aren't yours? What experiences are you drawing to you that you innately carry because of your DNA? And what can you do to fix it? This thing with freedom of speech, it can be good and it can be bad. But what's great is that as the truth will set you free, but first it pisses you off. This is kind of what's happening with this healing of this nation. Like how this country was founded was people were leaving for the ability to have freedom with their religion. But at the same time, this country has no founding roots of what religious structure it wants to be in or what spiritual structure it wants to be in. So we have like everything going on, and we also have a loss. We have a loss where there's no strong root or foundation. But what we also do have is a gain, because we have this loss and this gain happening simultaneously. We get to hear how each person's healing. We get to hear people fight for what they feel is right. We get to identify the different traumas, and we get to heal through these things together. And how we can do it effectively is to have grace, okay? To be able to move with grace with each person and allowing them to have compassion for what they're going through and knowing that, hey, you're probably going to do a little bit of something too. And when we're able to do this, we're able to heal in a way that we can help one another move through this together. It's time, instead of being divided states of America, where every state has their own law, every state has their own way of dealing with things. It's almost like we're our own separate countries, we're divided with our race, divided with our thoughts, divided with our religion, divided with our beliefs, but yet we're called United States. How about we try to operate in a space where we are united and support one another, and work with the overall goal that we want, an overall goal of a freedom, the overall goal of a speech. Because right now we're that cousin that everybody talk about, good and bad. and at the same time, everybody jealous about, because we have this level of freedom, because we have this lifestyle. People look at the Hollywood videos and think this is how we all live until they get here and realize how we really operate. That it's kind of, they're like, shoot, I could have went back to my own country. Why was I thinking here was so much better? It can be that much better. And we can start to build on one another as a country, where we're putting in education, we're helping the youth that are being born into this country feel strong, feel confident, feel that they can accomplish anything. Not that because you're black, you can only do XYZ, then go to jail. Or not because you're white, you can only run a business. Or not because if you're this or that nationality, that you have the stigma of belief, of stigma career path. But you can be anything you want to be. And we can all start to listen to different persons' beliefs or their different cultural things. Because on the spiritual side, let me tell you something. A lot of this stuff is real. Real talk. Like, a lot of stuff is real. Like, I've seen them myself, experienced it. And I know ain't nothing wrong with my head. I ain't on drugs. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I don't have to do an ayahuasca to see everything. And I'm sure if I did, I probably would see more. But the thing is, if you know a person like myself who has seen or received messages from spirits and felt things, it's important that we understand where a person gets to choose what they want to believe, and they can be open to trusting the faith in the process. The reason why a lot of this stuff is hidden is because the abuse of power, the abuse people deal with, which is why I like to focus on the trauma, so we can clear these things and do what's actually right. Because in the spirit world, there are both things going on simultaneously. There's just as much good as just as much bad happening. And if you don't believe, oh, there's a devil, there's evil, there's this or that, look at what's happening out in the world right now. There's a lot of confusion. A lot of people are lost. A lot of people are seeking hope. A lot of people are lonely. They're feeling the pain right now as we speak. I have my book here. I don't have a thing set. So I don't know. I'm just going to pull open any page. So I have gone through a lot of messages, and all right, here we go. So to properly align or rid of this virus, would you go to the original hacker that wants to rob you of your vital information? And can you trust them to simply comply with your request? I just chose any random part of my book. So most likely, no. You may clear the virus or get another hacker to help you to counteract this malicious query. Either way, it involves using self or seeking the help of someone that will guide you through this rewiring. This is when practitioners, healing, seers, regressioners can come into play for one to break past the blocks that have been created within. As I went through journaling, there are many times I needed assistance with this. I went and had healing sessions, guided to buy crystals, and even do a past life regression. Although much of the karma that has been healed for many with the change of the grids, for some it may be too painful to make conscious changes to evolve, and this regression is needed. But much of the times, it takes time and patience with yourself and a good coach to guide you along the way. With the regression, I remember when I would have readings and be told that my dreams were sometimes a past life memory. Me being me, I did not believe. I actually didn't believe in that stuff. I didn't believe in any of this stuff. As with anything else, when things present itself, I say, why not? And say, let go to fear. It's here. And I remember a night when I was home alone, chilling, and I found a YouTube video. It's pulled now. I ain't here no more. And it said something about past life. I was like, what the heck? Why not? It was a 3-part series, and it was really weird. This dude had like a cat and some other stuff going on. Anyway, let me go back to my book. So, but in the relaxed state I went in, I did have an experience, and it was so real. My mind and body and everything felt, and seeing the details of this place I had never seen in this lifetime. It was so strong that I woke up in tears, recalling a life where I was this young girl that was molested. Um, it was terrible, and it made me believe. Like, I was blonde hair, blue eyed. My name was Sarah, and I saw my sister who had brown hair, and this man. I relived this whole experience. Since then, this video, it has been pulled down from YouTube, and I have no reason why. I'll just leave you to speculate why that video was pulled. At a later time, I was guided to a professional for regression. For as much as I was to come forward, there were fears and blocks within me that kept me in a pattern, one that would not allow me to heal. And I recall the night before I had my first. I was visited by 3 wise men. I told the psychic regression therapist, and as much as I was confused and in disbelief to why me, I don't even remember this part, and if it were them, she said it was indeed them. They came to give me peace, love, and hope. So apparently I had a dream about 3 wise men coming to me the day before I was going to a woman to get my regression. And she was also psychic and intuitive, and she was able to confirm what I experienced, which is kind of something like what I do when I work with people. I'm able to feel what's happening. So my regressions, they were all recorded, and I was amazed when I found I would find the locations that were from a past life. It was truly fascinating. What is beneficial with such thing is that you can find a fear, a deep pain, or hurt that you may have had that stays with your energetic field emotionally in this lifetime. With digging through, you can get to a release. However, it's not necessary to relive all these lives, for much has changed to release the karmic energies. I say this because as this woman and I became friends, we both went and had an energetic healing session to merge us with our higher selves. Things that I had done on an emotional level was not done with her. Nothing good or bad, but just where we were in our lives at this time. But what I did notice is that our experiences after the session were dramatically different. I felt light, complete, and ease. And she went through some deep emotional trauma that had not been dealt with from this life and others. Yeah, so every time you go through healing doesn't mean it's the same. So this was also the case with others, and I had met on my journey, where their healing didn't just make things better, but instead brought up more pain and cleansing that often felt worse. Yeah. So some of you may wonder, why the heck will I want to go through this? But our society is dealing with a huge cleansing right now. Globally, as well as the U.S., with a race inequality and much more. You know what? I had just picked up the book. I didn't have a page mark. Look, there's nothing near me to mark this page. I just chose this. This just is a sign how spirit works. How, if a message needs to be brought out, how it will bring you to the right source. I'm just going to continue reading this last bit, and I'll stop when I'm guided to stop. So, globally, as well as the U.S., with the race inequality and much more. See, for the anger to be released, we have to find the root of the problem. The reason why many don't do this is because the spirit, has been taught as a myth, something unknown and hard to connect with. It is here there is so much dissension. What I do know is that with each of us have a journey. What I do know is that with each of us, we have a journey, and that is each have the same lessons to go through. With these lessons, we each must learn these lessons to become a sovereign being that we are designed to be. Meaning, being the person we also speak we are. It is not something for just teachers, but for each on this planet. See, with the life paths, we each have a choice to lead us on a path. How we make our decisions are impacted by our experiences and the desired outcomes we all make. With change in frequency, this can change at any given time for any given person. I found this to be true as I would get readings. There were some outcomes that were not favorable to me, aka having 4 more kids. I ain't want no more kids. Love my babies. There were some outcomes that were not favorable to me and what I wanted, and I made certain choices to change the outcome. It was here the encompassing of free will became present for me, and the understanding of not going to read your future made sense. So that's why I don't do future readings. Although it can assist with where you are now, the choice you make will ultimately make the outcome. It is here trust, faith, and belief become an active catalyst in your life. So for believing in the word of someone requires discernment. I'm going to repeat that. So to believe in someone else's word, it requires discernment. For action speaks louder than word. Being in alignment is what's important here. Let me go back to the book. So what I gained as I am receiving messages, meditations, and knowledge as I have begun my ascension is that with this new age and shift, which is not really new age, okay, it's just change from Aquarius, just like the starting point with Christ being born, it's at 0, okay? It's another topic for another thing I don't want to go over. So in shifts, it's essential for each human being to do their part with embracing their spiritual path and becoming the person they seek to be in a higher vibration and truly ascend into love and access their gifts the true way. Any energetic skills learned outside of this high vibration is one from the negative forces and will not be honored in the connectivity of God, source, the universe. All right. As you can see, this is my old cover. Okay. Open, That Life Makes Sense. I had it published with another company. Apparently they were taking my royalties. It's republished now with a white cover. You can purchase it on my website and you'll understand more of how I got into this. I speak also about the different religions, the different beliefs, the trinities, as I also share the received messages of how I got here. And I feel like the power is in the people and not in someone else. And seeing videos, seeing pictures of these same leaders that everybody's fussing themselves about, hugging, laughing, talking, like being cool with each other, just really shows how people can work themselves up, make somebody else's problem their problem, and not focus on the tasks at hand. When it comes into politics, when it comes into leadership, it really, the power is in each person. And with everything at the state level, get to know your people, get to know them, get to see what's happening in your community. Know that your voice has weight. Okay. If there's something that's not being done properly, make sure you thought it out first and you're not going off a reaction. And you look at the logistics, you do your research and you do your understanding. All right. That way, when you write a letter, okay, you go into a meeting and you talk to the people, you're coming from a space of strength. You're coming from a foundational space where you're actually making a change. And if the change doesn't happen the first time you try, because you did your foundation, because you did your research, and you're not doing everything based off of emotion, you will keep trying. It's like sales. You're going to keep going. You're going to keep following up until the right thing. You're going to talk to other people. You're going to bring people together so that way you can make it an impact. Okay. And this is where leadership steps in. This is why a person won. Leadership, marketing skills, knowing how to relate to people, not dividing, using the word middle class. Who calls themselves middle class? Nobody. Things like that can turn people psychologically, energetically, the opposite way. So you have to be able to just really feel into what is happening, not take this thing so personal that you're cutting off what you really want for yourself in your life. So for the women that are feeling like they've been betrayed, they've been lost, they've been that, this may be a lot of your trauma just coming out, and you're making us all aware that this is something that's probably present in a lot of other women, and for healers like ourselves to just start to do some healing for the women. But things need to be received energetically for you to make the right choice, for you to connect with spirit, for you to be in your power. I originally wrote this book back in 2018. This is way before them, So, and I started writing before, because anybody ever wrote a book, it take a minute, thousands of hours to get this stuff going. But Allow yourself to be one with your creator. Allow yourself to be one with yourself in dealing with the past traumas, your experiences, the things that are coming up for you in a way that's bringing up more and more turmoil. And allow yourself to have your come to Jesus moment, your come to it, your checkup from the neck up, whatever you works for you, and allow yourself to heal. You owe yourself that. Okay. So my name is Keisha Martin. If you enjoyed this video, you got some takeaway from it, be sure to give it a like. And if you would like to embrace your journey and you're having a hard time doing things yourself, feel free to message me so that way we can talk about the best resource to help you. I have many, and we'll go from there. All right. So this is Keisha Martin, and I will see you in the next video.